right, baby. Round 2 for me. Round 3 for the Florida Panthers and the New York Rangers. The President's Trophy winner of the 2023-2024 season versus the Eastern Conference champion of last year, 2022-23. I had to think about it for a second. Yeah, so anyways, we know that the last year the Panthers went all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals versing the Vegas Golden Knights and now the New York Rangers. To my surprise, I had them third in the division, and they decided to say, hey, Brad, we're going to win everything. So watch us. And they did. They did a great job. They're doing very well. I mean, they killed the Washington Capitals in the first round, 4-0 sweep. Carolina, they took out in 6 games. I thought Carolina fought well, but goaltending was their big stopper, and of course, there's big power hitters on the Rangers. So it's hard to beat guys when you have like Fox, Kreider, Zibanejad, Panarin, like. You have the massive guys and an amazing goalie like Shesterkin. But we're going to go over that right now, so let's jump into it. But first, give me your predictions in the comments section below. And hit like and subscribe because that goes a long way for smaller creators like me. But let me know who you got winning this series. And because to me, I don't know if it's as obvious as people think. So let's jump right into it. So talking about the Rangers, some phenomenal players. Only played 10 games in comparison to the Florida, who have played 11 games. Let's see. So we go to the Florida Panthers. We're like 11 games. Yep. So they have Zibanejad, Trocheck, 14 points each per game. I mean, that's great. Kreider and Trocheck especially putting up 6 goals is very good for him. Kreider shooting at a 24.1% shooting percentage. Trocheck at 20. I mean, look at Barclay Goodrow, 30% shooting percentage. Matt Rempe, look at 33%. He shot 3 times and got 1 goal. That's amazing, and that's an amazingly hard hitter. And by the way, Rempe's gonna be starting game 1. He is starting game 1. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the starting lineup just to give a big ol' to the Florida Panthers because the puck's not gonna exist for the first part of this game. And the reason I say that, 1, Steve Dangle said it. 2, Matt Tkachuk said it. Matt Tkachuk said in the first 10 minutes of the game, the puck doesn't matter. That is a quote from him. He said it during the regular season, so why wouldn't this apply during the playoffs? If they're doing these for the smaller games, imagine for the most important games, absolutely a tone setter when you're doing a best of 7. If you can set the tone properly, you can get the upper hand. And we saw that plenty of times with Florida last year against Boston. We saw it all the way up to the Stanley Cup Finals, and we saw it in the first round versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. So, going over some of the pieces that the Rangers picked up. The nice thing about the Rangers is a lot of these guys that are their top producers were already in the team, so you're not trying to rebuild a team. The trade deadline, you're just bringing in and you're adding to your guys, your free agents, your guys that you traded for in the off season or that you guys have picked up free agency or drafted. So you have Zibanejad, like Trocheck, Panarin, Lafreniere, Kreider, all in your system that's been there for a long time. Roslovic, of course, is a different one, right? He came from the Columbus Blue Jackets, producing very well, 7 points in 10 games for them. I'm glad to see his resurgence. I hope he might even stay with the team. We'll see. And of course, Goudreau, Fox, Trouba, Miller, like. A lot of this points you're getting are from guys that have been established in the team who know their roles, and you kind of just fill in other pieces, right? You fill in pieces like Wenberg as well, right? There's just not a lot of there wasn't a lot of having to fill in here, but with these players that are producing so well, it's not like Edmonton Oilers where you have like such top heavy guys. I mean, you only have 3 guys or 5 guys in double-digit points. But again, they only play 10 games, right? So that's 5 games a series essentially. So you're not playing the full 14, but you're still getting a good production on these guys per game. So I'm really happy. But again, honestly, Fox only didn't have any goals, only 4 points, 10 games. It's surprising. But putting up a good 23 minutes. The difference with the New York Rangers is that there's a good distribution of time. 23 minutes, of course, is he's Trocheck's playing penalty kill, as well as I think second PP. I think he may be first TP. I have to look that up. You have Fox playing 23 minutes. I mean, Lindgren's playing 20 minutes. These are good money minute eaters. Trouba. You have Keandre Miller. My apologies. And so there's a lot of great, like, I mean, there's a good, like, four-line team. They're just pushing really well. But again, we know one of the bigger stars is Shesterkin, right? Shesterkin playing out of his mind, and I was praising Ottinger before, right? And Ottinger had a great goals against average, but again, the defensive structure of Dallas is phenomenal. But even better, even higher goals against, but a higher higher save percentage. .923 is out of this world. Shesterkin is, I mean, he's a former Vezina winner. I think he won 2 years ago. I think it was an Allmark one last year. I mean, this guy just puts up phenomenal points. Only 2 losses. This guy is a monster. And the nice thing is you're getting. I think he's Russian. I think Shesterkin is Russian. This is more. Yeah, it's Igor. Yeah, of course it's Igor. It's got to be Russian. Of course, Moscow right there. Boom. So you got the battle of Russian goaltenders. And again, this is a weapon right here. This guy right here is a weapon. He's going to be so important, and he has been important. He had an easy first series, easier first series against Washington. So a little more. I imagine the Rangers are a little healthier with Florida, and you have to go through Carolina. Carolina's not as much of a rough and tumble team as compared to the Florida Panthers, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Toronto Maple Leafs aren't really there, so Boston. So you think about with the Florida Panthers, they're going through a lot of people like the Tampa and Boston. Those are big hitters, and you're seeing a good amount of production as well from them. Actually, the one thing I want to do compare with the Rangers and the Florida Panthers is you can kind of see it goes 14, 14, 11, 10, 10, 7, 5. Like it drops off pretty quickly after Roslovic. Done a good draw at 5. With the Panthers, you can see it goes 14, 13, 11, 9, 9, 8, 7. So you're getting a little bit more production out of like more depth. And I like the depth of the Rangers, but I think Florida's depth is a little bit better. Because not only do they play tough throughout the lineup, they're just playing strong. They're like tough and strong are different, right? You can have a tough guy, but you need to have toughness and strength throughout the system. And you're looking at 107 points over 11 games, so almost 10 points per player, right? And then you're getting a little higher production out of the Florida Panthers, right? Where you're only getting 9.5 points on average out of the players for the Rangers. So to me, right there shows you there's higher depth, there's higher scoring when it comes to the Florida Panthers, and the nice thing about both these teams, they both have game breakers. You have a Panarin, you have a Zibanejad. Kreider is a monster. I think he had 7 goals. 7 goals, and then you have Trocheck had 6 goals. That's amazing, right? Again, you're seeing, but again, if you shut those guys down, you're relying so heavily on them. Again, look at here. You have 6, 7, 4, 4, and it kind of peters off, right? Here are the Panthers. You have 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 3. Like, look, even like guys in the lower line, like Rodriguez, like Forrest Langley, you're getting production out of these guys, and they're just playing so hard. They play playoff hockey. That's the difference. Is that you have teams that play well, and we saw this with Carolina. Carolina is an amazing regular season team. They are set up well for the regular season. They played very well. I think they finished one of the top. I think they're second in the division. They were definitely like a top 3 in their conference. But when you have playoff hockey, you're not just rolling lines. You're playing aggressive. You're getting dirty goals. You're in front of the net. There's a little bit more grit that comes along with it and that mindset. So, and of course you're speaking of like a grit, and goaltending has not been as good of a strength for Bobrovsky, but he's a game breaker. .902, it's below average actually, but this is playoff hockey. It's different, and so what you're seeing is a little higher points coming from the Florida Panthers, and goaltenders lacking a little bit, right? So Florida's having to outproduce so that they can win these games, whereas Shesterkin's is Again, a monster. By the way, the crazy thing is that there's a lower save percentage, but the goals against average is 2.37. And then if you go to for Bobrovsky for New York, you're looking at a 2.4. So it is a little bit higher for Shesterkin, right? But he's getting more. But this save percentage was very much bolstered by the low danger shots that Carolina put on Shesterkin, making these numbers look a little bit better than they probably actually are. So I still stand that Ottinger's the best goalie in this playoffs currently. But Bobrovsky again plays well. We know he can play well. He has absolutely played well. So in my opinion, this series is going 7. It's absolutely going 7. But to me, as you can tell from my thumbnail, I got Cats. I mean, I just think you have again. It's you can have game breakers. You can have guys that can play super well, but you need guys that are just gonna take that. They're gonna take the game of balls, squeeze and tug and pull, and really decide to win the game. But then you have Kreider. Oh, dude, you have Kreider as well, who's such a good player. I mean, but you have that throughout the lineup with Florida. You have an amazing game breaker like Kreider who had that amazing goal, on Boston. I just think I think Florida, they're built for this. Florida is built for. Oh, by the way, I want to mention that Sam Bennett, 4 points in 6 games. So really, if he played 11, he'd have like 5 or 6. So again, you're seeing that full production of other guys like that. But it just goes more to the depth and the lineup if he comes back healthy. So to me, it goes to Florida. They're built for this kind of type of game. They're built around it. Paul Maurice is built around this game as well. He the way he yells, the way he brings that energy. This is Florida's to lose. To me, it's absolutely Florida's to lose. You have a team that lost in the first round. Rangers are happy to be here, but they won the President's Trophy. So they're out the first round last year, and they win the President's Trophy this year. So it's a big jump, right? If they lose in the third round, that's not a bad thing. The problem is honestly, it's actually a good thing if they lose in the third round. Depends how they lose, they get swept. It's a different story. But I don't. They're not going to get swept, in my opinion. Quote me. Quote me. They're not going to get swept. But if the Rangers lose handedly, let's say they lose 4-2, they lose. That's still pretty good. You made it to the third round. If Florida loses in the third round, that's going backwards. You've now gone backwards from where you needed to be. You lost. You were into the Stanley Cup Finals and you lose in the third round. Like that, that's a bad thing. You're going backwards. So you have to figure out how to set your team up so that they can that you continue to move forward. And if you can't do that. And Florida, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for Florida. I think they're going to play so well. I am excited, but Florida can't go backwards because if you do this, what do you do next year? Now what if you lose in the second round next year? What's team's gonna freak out? The fan base is gonna stick out. You set the standard. You've gone to the Stanley Cup Finals. You've seen the promised land. You got to get back there. So to me, again, this is Florida's to lose. I think they're gonna be hungrier. They're gonna want it more, and they play that style. They play the style that you need in front net presence, that you're charging the net. And you saw that versus a tough team. They beat a tough team like the Tampa Bay Lightning. They beat a tough team like the Boston Bruins. Rangers had it pretty easy with Washington Capitals, relatively. It's still playoff hockey. It's relative, though. Carolina Hurricanes play tougher than the Washington Capitals. To me, they're not as tough as Tampa Bay Lightning. They're not as tough as they're absolutely not as tough as the Boston Bruins. So to me, it's going to be 6 or 7. I said 7. I think there's enough. I think that Shesterkin can win them 3 games. So I'm going to go in 7. Florida takes it, and they're going to the Stanley Cup Finals versus my Dallas Stars, who I'm rooting for in the playoffs because the Red Wings that I cheer for didn't make it. No one wants to talk about it. It's okay. All right, so that's what we got here. I'm so excited. Let me know what your thoughts are. Hit like, subscribe, comment who you got winning. I mean, if it's Florida, tell me it's not Florida. Put a cat emoji if you think it's Florida. If you don't think it's Florida, put a I don't know, what are Rangers? A gun? No, put a gun. That's weird. Put like a shield? I don't know. Put a something red, white, and blue. Put a red emoji, a white emoji, and a blue emoji. That works. All right. Hit like, subscribe. Love you. Catch you in the next one.